Good morning. Today we're going to build a English manor house and a huge market to replace our old one. Welcome back to MorningCraft. So for some time now, the Gallo family has been living atop Mount Thaldrim. And they've had this lovely little cottage there for some time. But ever since the cathedral was built, well, they've sort of been cut off from all the roads and the infrastructure. And what was once a beautiful cottage is barely noticeable next to the grand cathedral. Their market stall was buried beneath the cathedral's foundations, and the brewer and the Stone family have been ruined as well. They can't help but look up at it with a bunch of disgust. And so they called in a few favours and they started work on this traditional manor house. And it's going to be quite a bit bigger than their measly little cottage. And so I did a bunch of terraforming and built a foundation for their brand new home. I'm going to be trying to build the sort of thing that you see all around in the English countryside. So here's to hoping that I do a good job. And with the first floor in, it's already a promising start, and much bigger than their old cottage. That foundation does need some blending though. But before we continue on with our build, let's go to a quick story.
The Earl returned from Ladogan with a merchant ship. The ship breezed past the smaller Viking ships, breaking the ship's oars as it went. The Viking ships were immobile, and the terrible two fled to the opposite side of the river.
So that's the Viking threat dealt with for now. So I made a second floor, which looks pretty much the same as the first floor, with the same window pattern and everything. And as you can see, it's got quite a quaint feel, with the details on the windows and a roof coming together on top. I built out the roof with a nice peak for a balcony and two sloping sides on either side of the building. If you happen to find yourself in the UK, it's a great idea to take a step out of one of the major cities and go and see a beautiful old building such as this. And very soon they won't have to stare up at the cathedral to get a sense of awe, as that new home is going to be beautiful. And as you can see, it's already on the way. I added a few more windows to the back of the building, as well as another roof, and a few windows on the side as well. I added a touch of lighting, but there is something I really want to add to this building to give it an extra bit of detail. And this time I promise it's not going to be glowberries. I did add a chimney and some lightning rods, but it's not those either. And now the house has much more of a profile on the side of the mountain. But the secret little ingredient I added to this build is leaves. But to find out where the Gallows got all the money for this amazing new build, let's go to a quick story segment.
With the building of the cathedral, the top of Mount Thaldrim was in disarray. The market of the Gallows was gone. Nigel Stone and Oliver Brewer had been cut off entirely from the roads. With no market to draw people up the hill, the tavern was entirely empty. Needless to say, Anthony Gallo was furious with the Earl and King Chapman for putting this lavish monument before the livelihoods of the people atop the mountain. This was somewhat ironic given that Anthony did no work and only lived off market stall rentals. But the others seemed to agree with his sentiment. Anthony Gallo invited Victor Armstrong to the top of the mountain to discuss.
They think they've won, stripped us of trade, cut our roads, left us to rot. But power is not given, it is taken. Alone they can crush us. Together, we control what they need. Stone for their walls, ale for their halls, trade beneath their noses. A quiet hand, unseen, guiding wealth where we decide. No banners, no loud claims. Just coin, power, and silence. A brotherhood, a pact, our own Earl, hidden in the shadows. We rise together, or we starve alone. So tell me, shall we carve our own fate?
And with that, the Syndicate of Gold was formed, a secret society to gain power and benefit its own members.
And so the Syndicate of Gold was born, and after constructing a new house for the gallows, they also built some beautiful gardens, replaced the cherry trees, and built a giant market. This market is even bigger than the previous one, and it comes fitted with manicured lawns and beautiful flower petals coming from the trees. And the gallows have restored their iconic peonies. What could be better than a beautiful home like this? Especially as it comes with winding lanes full of market stalls to provide a steady income for whoever inhabits it. Now that is what one could call a vast improvement. Although knowing the gallows, even this won't be enough for them. The Syndicate of Gold just needs a way to help out the tavern, the brewer, and the Stone family. But rest assured, the Gallow family is going to be quite comfortable until they figure that out. And the plateau now has another line of beautiful cherry trees. Despite their antagonism, their build actually complements the cathedral rather well, especially as it shines in the morning light. So will the brewers and the stones be able to improve their lot on top of Mount Thaldrim? I'm not sure, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. And look at that market, doesn't that look good? But I hope you've had the most amazing morning, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday, where we should have another episode for you to enjoy. I'm currently building the Pirate Cove of Velkaport, so you'll probably get an episode of that. But until next time, I hope you have a really, really good day and a wonderful set of mornings.